Ladies and gentlemen, hoodie season is back. Hoodie season is here. We got to talk about that. Plus, we got to talk about the man Joel Embiid and how he managed to score 0 points last night. Not only that, we got to talk about the Lakers game plus a few other games and then end the video off by talking about the rivalry between Trae Young and Luka Doncic. That's a look at what we got to talk about today. But with that out of the way, what is up, guys? It's me, Zach Lee. How y'all doing today? Hope you're having a fantastic day, no matter what part of the world you might be watching from. But you guys coming in already know the drill. Go ahead and destroy that like button, as it does help this channel grow. I greatly appreciate it. But not only that, make sure that you yourself are subscribed to the channel with post notifications turned on so you don't miss out on more videos like this 5 days per week. That's every Monday through Friday. But that's enough of my talking. That's enough jibber jabber. Now let's get into everything that we got to discuss today. Let's get it. Let's go. I don't know whether or not this deserves a standing ovation. I'm not sure. Why? Because the Portland Trailblazers actually won a game. They beat the Chicago Bulls last night, 117-84. And here's the thing, I'm so split on this because I don't know whether or not I should be bashing the Portland Trailblazers or congratulating the Portland Trailblazers. Look, the Portland Trailblazers are 6-12 on the year now after this win. Congratulations, by the way, to Carmelo Anthony. The man looked good out there, scored 25 points. However, this is a bounce back game for Carmelo because the last game against the Cleveland Cavaliers, which the Portland Trailblazers lost, even though they got Damian Lillard back, Carmelo Anthony wasn't so great. Only scored 11 points on 5 of 15 shooting for 0 of 8 from 3. So to see him have a bounce back game, that's great, you know. But here's the thing, once again, we shouldn't be so excited about the Portland Trailblazers beating the Chicago Bulls because this was a team in the Western Conference Finals last year with every intention of making it back to the Western Conference Finals this year or not further. That's the Portland Trailblazers thought process coming into this season, building upon the success they've had in the past, especially with the downfall of a team, a juggernaut, a team like no one's ever seen in Golden State. This was supposed to be the year that, you know what, maybe, hey, Damian Lillard, CJ McCollum get hot enough in the playoffs and who knows what could happen, right? That's what was supposed to be the hope of the Portland Trailblazers. And then come season time when they find out, hey, maybe this isn't going to happen. Hassan Whiteside, of course, is not Yusuf Nurkic, where without Zach Collins, Yusuf Nurkic isn't coming back for a while. Now Zach Collins isn't coming back for a while. Damian Lillard and CJ McCollum are okay. Damian Lillard is freaking breaking his back from trying to get this team wins. And they're at the bottom of the Western Conference, so they decide, you know what? We're desperate enough. We've hit that point. Let's go and bring in Carmelo Anthony. That's what they're like, you know, maybe this will be a stopgap good enough to hopefully right the ship. But unfortunately for them, they get Melo. Damian Lillard, like I said, goes down because his back is breaking from trying to carry this team. He's been trying to carry this team since he was a dang rookie. And I'm just going to call it like I see it. The Portland Trailblazers really haven't done much or tried to make any moves really to get this dude some help. CJ McCollum blossomed when LaMarcus Aldridge went out. That's great. That's great. But other than that, what have they done? They shuffled the other guys around him and done nothing else. Nothing else. And then this year, this is supposed to be I'm losing my freaking voice talking about this. This is supposed to be the year that maybe anything can happen. Because there is no more Golden State. You have so many guys out and the window is wide open. It's like the beginning of a new era. This could be the year for Portland. And they don't want to make a move. And get this why? Because they don't want to trade Anthony Simons. Now again, Anthony Simons is a very promising, great young player. But you've had this very promising, great player in Damian Lillard for years and have refused to go and get them the help that he actually needs to become a true contender. Because even though the Blazers, I'm just going to keep it as real as possible here, even though the Blazers have been good, even though they've been a good team, even though they've been a great team, made it to the Western Conference Finals last year, they've never been championship contenders. They have not once, not 1 year, legitimately been seen as championship contenders with Damian Lillard. And now maybe you have a chance if you move Anthony Simons to get some help at the 4, to go get a Kevin Love, to go get a Blake Griffin, heck, even a Danilo Gallinari, something, anything to help Damian Lillard. But you won't because you don't want to trade Anthony Simons. Blood pressure is going through the roof today, guys. Because now we got to talk about Joel Embiid. And I'm not going to harp on Joel Embiid too much because I guess things like this happen. He went 0 of 11 from the field yesterday against the Toronto Raptors in a game in which the Philadelphia 76ers lost to the Toronto Raptors 101-96 for 0 points. Joel Embiid went scoreless in an NBA game. Now, if Joel Embiid had been balling out this entire season, if he had been playing great and the Philadelphia 76ers had been playing great, and then this happens, I think a few more people will be willing to let it slide. But here's the thing. Joel Embiid has been good this season. Of course, he's still Joel Embiid, but he hasn't been the MVP Joel Embiid that we thought we were going to see. He really kind of feels a bit worse than he was at points last season so far. So I've been unimpressed with Joel Embiid, and I've definitely been unimpressed with the Philadelphia 76ers. Look, they're 11-6 on the year now. And this was a team that a lot of people had favored to come out of the Eastern Conference. And they're barely beating teams that they should be annihilating. And it feels like they're only winning because they just have the talent. They have more talent than the bad teams that they've been playing against. That feels like the only reason the Philadelphia 76ers are even 11-6 right now, because they're not playing good together. They don't look good out there in the basketball court. Ben Simmons, in and of himself, is an indicator of that, and I think that has something to do with Joel Embiid. You look at the fit of Al Horford and Josh Richardson and just this whole team, it doesn't work. It doesn't work. Elton Brand was extremely aggressive in the moves that he's made ever since he became the general manager. It seems like if there was a move to be made, he was going to make it. And he's just made all of these moves, and it feels like he's made them regardless of what the fit for the potential team could be. Like, what he's doing right now kind of reminds me of what a guy like Joe Dumars did for my Pistons towards the end of his career, when Joe Dumars thought that a front line of Josh Smith, freaking Greg Monroe, and Andre Drummond was the next big thing, was the answer to small ball. It's not. I mean, the Sixers, it doesn't work. There's no bench. There's no consistent shooting. Josh Richardson has got a good couple of past games, but there's no consistent shooting. Joel Embiid suffering with this lineup. Ben Simmons suffering with this lineup. You're paying Tobias Harris $40 million in a couple of years. I think Elton Brand might have tried to do a little too much too fast. The final thing that we're going to have to talk about today is Luka Doncic versus Trae Young and the interesting rivalry that is definitely brewing there. Before we get into that, there are some other games that we do have to cover from last night. The first one being the Los Angeles Lakers getting yet another win versus San Antonio Spurs. LeBron James continuing to do nothing but impress. 33 points and 14 assists. And what's crazy is that, honestly, the Lakers have been this good without Anthony Davis playing his best. He's been great, but even he, I don't think, has been playing his best basketball yet on the offensive end, at least this season. And there are now some people talking about, well, if you look at who the Lakers have been playing, they've been playing against not the best opponents. They played the Clippers once, they played the Raptors once, but other than that, they've been playing a bunch of barely 500 or sub 500 teams. Okay, what's the point? The Lakers are winning. They're 15-2. What do you want from them? To lose to these bad teams? They're beating teams that they should be beating. That's a great sign. Take it for what it is. A great sign. This is going to be a good team. They're not even losing some of the games. They're winning all of them. What do you want? They're winning all of them. It's not like they dropped a couple here, dropped a couple. No, they're winning all of them, except for the Clippers and the Raptors. The Boston Celtics got revenge against the Sacramento Kings. The Kings, of course, being the team that snapped Boston's win streak just a few games ago. 103-102 the final score. And this was even without Kemba Walker. Look, Boston is literally the definition of next guy up. Brown, Tatum, and Smart all played their hardest last night, and they needed to in order to withstand 41 points from Buddy Hield. Giannis is so good that it's kind of boring to talk about him. I don't know if that makes me a bad person or something to say that, but it's true. 50 points against the Jazz in a Bucks win, 122-118. See, here's something that people don't understand. There are different types of 50-point games. Some teams, some players get 50-point games against a bad team in a meaningless game in what turns out to be either a blowout win or even a loss, right? That's a type of 50-point game. This was a freaking heroic 50-point game because Giannis's team, the Milwaukee Bucks, needed every single point. 122 to 118, and the man did it without even turning the ball over. And Giannis Antetokounmpo is someone who's pretty hard on himself in terms of grading his post-game play performance. You know, he's typically never trying to gas himself up, but even after this game yesterday, he was like, I kind of freaking went out there and balled out. We let them hit some threes, but we got the win. And so if Giannis is saying he balled out, you know he balled out. 50 points and 0 turnovers against a great Utah Jazz team. The Indiana Pacers continue to win. Yo, this team is 11-3 after their 0-3 start without Victor Oladipo, and some of those losses came because they were without Malcolm Brogdon and a couple of other key players for those games. This team is good. This team is really, really freaking good. 126 to 114 the final score in this one. Look, I'm just saying, they're 11-6 now, 11-3 after that bizarre 0-3 start without their best player in the Eastern Conference, an entire NBA that's wide open, and people want to act like this team has no shot in the East. Stay asleep. The Miami Heat, not too many people should be sleeping on them anymore. They just continue to win. 117 to 100 the final score. They're now 12-4 on the year. Butler, Adebayo, Nunn, Hero, go down the entire list. There isn't anyone that has been balling out for Miami. They've now won 6 of their past 7 games. Spencer Dinwiddie remains one of the clutchest players in the NBA. He does it again for the Brooklyn Nets, getting them the win over the Cleveland Cavaliers, 108 to 106. 20 for Dinwiddie on the night, but the big man was Jarrett Allen with 22 points and 21 rebounds. The Detroit Pistons had better have won this game. If they were to lose this game, this video would have had an entirely different tone. 103 to 88 versus the Magic. The Magic were without Aaron Gordon and Nikola Vucevic, hence why I said Detroit had better win. Luke Kennard, though, continuing to show all those haters wrong. All those people who said for the first couple of years that Donovan Mitchell was so much better than him wrong. 20 points and 7 assists. The kid is on the come up. And lastly, with the segment, the Orlando Magic defeat the Golden State Warriors by default, pretty much. Chris Paul, 20 points, 197 the final score. You know, we've been talking a lot about Luka Doncic on the channel so far this season. We've been talking a heck of a lot about Luka Doncic because the kid has been marvelous. Of course, he's an MVP candidate at 20 years old. We're talking about a guy who might go from winning Rookie of the Year to freaking MVP. Talk about setting a precedent for any future Rookie of the Years to try and follow. However, there's one player in the NBA who's kind of parallel to Luka Doncic, whose name will always be intertwined with Luka Doncic, and that player's name is none other than Trae Young. Sir Trae Young, the guy who a lot of people wanted to see fail last year, the guy who was getting comparisons to Curry in college, and people were like, y'all need to stop gassing up the kid, he ain't that good. That's what people have been saying, that's what people continue to say, and yet, look at him. The kid out here balling 37 points and 9 assists last night against the Minnesota Timberwolves in a loss. 125 to 113 the final score, but that's what you can expect from the Atlanta Hawks this year, especially with John Collins out. And look, the Hawks on the year, they're 4-13. Let's be real, that's what's keeping the praise away from Trae Young, because if you're just talking about numbers, sure, Luka Doncic has the better overall numbers, but of course it's going to be easier for a player like Luka Doncic to almost average a 30-point triple-double compared to a player like Trae Young, who's much smaller. But if you look at Young, this dude is putting up 27 points, just under 9 assists, and still almost 5 rebounds per game in his second year in the league. And when I'm watching this Atlanta Hawks team, it's like complete irony, because Trae Young's doing the same thing in college that he's doing in the NBA now. It's the same exact situation where he's playing with a bunch of guys. He's a really good player, phenomenal player, but playing with a bunch of guys who just can't play on that level yet, who aren't ready to play on that level yet. For example, the rookie Cam Reddish. Now, it's no secret that the Atlanta Hawks drafted Cam Reddish to try and form a Splash Bros 2.0. Cam Reddish coming into the league being known as a player who can start as a 3-and-D player, hopefully, but He's got to work on his game. That's why he was the 10th pick of the draft. He has to work on his game, especially his feel of the game. That's one thing that a lot of scouts were saying about Cam Reddish. And this dude to start the season has shown nothing but that there's going to be a lot of work required for him. He's not playing good and he's been bad. Cam Reddish has been bad. We're talking about a guy putting up 7.5 points on 29% shooting and 21% from 3. He's been bad. But I'm not going to dog on him because he's a rookie only 15 games into his career. He has some work to do, yes, but the potential is for sure there. No one's going to say the potential is not there for Cam Reddish. So for Trae Young, if you look at him and he knows he's always going to be compared to a guy like Luka Doncic because they were traded for each other. Their success goes hand in hand. Of course, when you're going to be talking about Luka Doncic, you got to say, well, they traded for him Trae Young. And so you talk about Trae Young, they'll be like, well, he traded for Luka Doncic. And so their success is going to be measured against each other because we want to know who got the better of that trade. Right now, it looks like the Dallas Mavericks, but they have the better team, right? Their team is more ready. They're winning games. Trae Young in a couple of years could be at that same level. So for Trae Young, if you're watching this, don't get down about all the people talking about Luka Doncic. Your time is definitely coming too. Let me know what you guys think about everything we had to talk about down in the comment section below. What do you think about the Blazers finally get their win? What do you think about Hoodie season returning? What do you think about Joel Embiid not scoring a single point in his Philadelphia 76ers team in whole? Just let me know anything down in the comment section below. But thank you guys so much for watching. You guys already know that you are the real MVPs. Once again, make sure that you destroy that like button as well as that you are subscribed to the channel with post notifications turned on so you don't miss out on more videos like this 5 days per week. Until tomorrow though, keep getting the buckets, Team SDC, and I'm out of here. Peace!